All right, hey everybody. My live connection's been going in and out. I hope it stays with us. It's a beautiful Saturday here. We're doing the Selkirk Pro S1C. Got it right here. We'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But first, keeping with tradition, I will do a little musical intro for your listening pleasure or displeasure, whichever it may be. This one is going out to my pickleball friends in Alabama. So I guess that gives you a big hint what song this is going to be. Here we go. Turning, carry me home to see our kin, singing songs about the Southland. Miss Alabama once again, and I think it's a sin. Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Let's try another verse. Scott Golden's from Alabama. I heard he's 5-0 now, is it true? He's faster than a cheetah, and he likes to drink pickle juice. Sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Home Alabama, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Thank you. Now that that's out of the way, let's get down to some serious paddle talk. So finally I'm able to get out on the patio so we can have a real paddles on the patio. Last time I got pushed inside because they decided to spray some bug spray right before the review. So we're outside. It's a little hot and muggy today. It's a Saturday afternoon, a lot of football going to be going on soon. I got my Florida Gators shirt on. Go Gators. Beat those, who are we playing today? Tennessee, right? Yeah. Anyway, we'll be talking about the Selkirk Pro S1C. Now, Selkirk, just a little background on Selkirk. They're from North Idaho, out there in the Pacific Northwest. Lots of really good pros using Selkirk right now. Glenn Peterson, Morgan Evans, Ty McGuffin, great new young player on the scene, Enrique Ruiz, and then you got Mark Renison, who does Third Shot Sports, does a great job with all his videos. I think he uses this one, or the maybe he uses the graphite, the matching brother. But great paddles, either one. But today we're going to be talking about the composite model, or as Mark likes to say, composite. Not sure quite what that is, but it's composite, right, Mark? When you go to the bank, do you make a deposit, or do you make a deposit? I think you make a deposit. So it's composite, and let's talk about the specs. The specs are, this one, they come in actually two models, a lighter version and a heavier version. This one is the regular lighter version. It goes 7.5 to 8 ounces. The heavier version goes 8 to 8.5 ounces. So you have your choice of if you like a little lighter or heavier. I started out with the heavier one, and I found that I didn't need that extra weight, so I went down to the regular model, and I liked it much better. My sweet spot is like 7 3/4 ounces. I really like that weight in pretty much any paddle. Some people like a little more beef, a little more mass behind the ball, so they go for a little over 8 ounces. But I like the regular version. So like I said, it's this one is 7.5 to 8 ounces. It's 8 inches wide. The length is 15 3/4 long, which is about average for most paddles, maybe a tad longer. The interesting distinguishing thing about this paddle, it has a shorter handle. As you can see, the handle gives you just enough room for your hand to get in there. And I really like this feature. It just makes the paddle feel more snug in your hand, and a longer handle is nice, but the longer the handle, the less control you have over the paddle. So the fact that the handle is right up to the paddle, it feels like you have a lot of control over where you're putting the ball, especially when you're dinking in the kitchen. Some people, they say the handle is a little small for them, but I really don't think so. I mean, I have a size large hand, and as you can see, there's plenty of room there for my hand. There's even a little extra. And if you like, you could even take the grip off, rewrap it, go a little higher, a little bit higher up than they do. That'll give you a little extra room to play with. But to me, there's plenty of room on that handle. Not really an issue at all. So the cosmetics are really nice, just nice and clean look. This one is white with the red emblem on it. The matching graphite model is similar, black background, red emblem on it. Just a nice classy look. I'm starting to see a lot more of these paddles out on the courts, and they're getting popular because they're just a great product, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. So we talked about the look, the handle. Also notice that you have more surface area down here on the paddle than most other paddles. What they did was they shortened up the handle and they brought some more surface area down here. And what that does, that gives you a lot more, well, not a lot more, but gives you a little more blocking room when you're at the kitchen and you're blocking those hard shots. So you have a lot of real estate here to move around and block with. And that's really a nice feature of this paddle. It doesn't really feel any more bulky when you're playing with it, but it's really nice to have that extra real estate when you're blocking some hard shots up at the kitchen. So that's a really nice feature. So other than the cosmetics, let's get into the way it plays. Now, I've played with this paddle for several months, so I know it inside and out. And this is my favorite paddle. So that statement alone really says a lot, because I've tried so many paddles, and this one stays on top. So that's a ringing endorsement. If people that know me, how many paddles I try, the fact that this is my favorite, it really says a lot. So how does it play? Serving, returning, ground strokes, all give you a nice pop with a nice easy swing. This is definitely on the power side of the spectrum, as most composite paddles are. It's just a nice even swing. We'll get those serves deep for you. Get the ground strokes from back, deep in the court. Returns are no problem. I love to hit my slice return with this. It's my favorite shot to hit, and this one lets me do it. It gives you a good amount of spin. The surface is not extremely rough, but there's definitely a little bit of roughness there that you could feel. But it really, the ball kind of pops off really well. It gives you a lot of ball speed right off the paddle, as most composite paddles do. And I'll give you a little taste of how it sounds. It sounds pretty much like most composite paddles. It's just got a nice sound to it. If you want to compare it, here's the graphite. Sounds softer, right? Then go back to the composite. You can hear it's a lower register sound. So if you're like me, you like to know what the sound is like, and the sound is pretty nice with this paddle. So next up, let's go to the touch and feel department. This paddle gives you a lot of control in the kitchen, and Selkirk advertises it as control with power when you need it. And I think that's a perfect description. You get a lot of control over your dinks, but the power is there. When you want to pop the ball, it really shoots off the paddle, and it will give you plenty of power. The question is going to be, as it is with most composite paddles, how do you handle the, do you like that amount of power, and can you control it? And the answer to that is yes. I mean, this is easy to control with your dinks, even though it's a pretty hot face, comes off the paddle quickly, but the control around the kitchen is really nice. It has that nice combo of power and control. A lot of people are always wanting that combination, and this one gives it to you. It leans towards power. If you want just pure control, you would go for the graphite model, which I'll talk about in another review. But if you want nice pop with control, the composite model is definitely the one. It's got a nice size sweet spot. Some paddles, you'll really pay a penalty when you hit outside the sweet spot. This one, it seems like the sweet spot is almost all over the face of the paddle. It just feels very solid no matter where you hit it, and a lot of times you'll hit it, not in the center, and it will still get over the net. So with that extra real estate on the paddle, and with the solid feel and the big sweet spot, you really have a nice paddle to play defense with. And when the opportunity is there, you can go on the offense and you can put it away. So in summary, I really like this paddle. It's my favorite right at the moment. I don't see anything taking it down right now. A lot of people are starting to jump on board and play with these new Selkirk paddles, and it's just a great choice. I can't recommend it enough. Power with control. If that's what you're looking for, this is your paddle. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone. We should have another review up maybe next week. We will probably be doing the graphite brother of the Pro 1, and I could talk about some of the differences and how you would decide between the two. Just in summary, I like having both. It's great to have an option of a softer paddle and a more powerful paddle, depending on the ball, depending on the where you're playing, what court. It's always good to have options, and with the two of them, you can cover a lot of ground. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you all soon, and go Gators.